Hello, hello. Hola. Araso. I might need to work on my pronunciation a bit, but again, I get it. As you may notice, I'm in a different location. I'm visiting some family for the next few days, so that's really good. It should be interesting just to throw you guys off a little bit. Again, gotta do my intro song. I'm not gonna be doing this probably forever unless there's a reason to, but for these first few videos, I think it serves me well and y'all hopefully. But we'll see. Alrighty. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Anywho, all right, let's get going. Alrighty, so I know that some people might have criticism, like, who's this guy? Why should I listen to him? You don't have to. Don't. It's your choice. Um, really, I give my reasonings of why I'm doing this. What my background is. I might look fairly young, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely have had my years, and I might sound a little arrogant in saying this, but I know what I'm talking about. At least from my point of view, at least from my perspective, I definitely know a fair amount. Where I'll take in information from people, but I know what I know, and I hope that it is useful information for those who choose to consider it. And that's why there's comments. I hope that y'all use them resourcefully. Consider how the questions, the comments that you might provide might be useful for me to respond to. I might even have direct videos in response to certain comments. And again, on certain days, I might even review certain topics. For example, you have a video, an idea, a certain thing you want me to consider, I'll look into it. And so I'm definitely open to that. But like I said in some other videos, pride definitely affects us. And the concept of why should I listen to this guy? Of course, I wouldn't listen to some random person, of course. But if I looked at what he was presenting and the content, and I seen that there was a lot of things that lined up with what made sense, what was true, then I would definitely consider listening and finding out more about what value he might provide. And so that's the overall idea. When I'm talking to you men, um, I know at times I might come off like I'm timid because I don't always look directly into the camera. I look, side to side. It's just how I process my thoughts. Um, Even when I converse with somebody, I do make eye contact a lot more than now. But at the same time, it's just how I manage my thoughts. I hope that it doesn't turn people off, but if it does, that's okay. I'm not for everybody. But um, men, we need to be willing to hear good insight, especially from those who have gone through it. Like I said, I look fairly young. Maybe I get some comments or some people that say, "No, you don't. That's okay. I don't mind. Um, I don't mind if I look older. Gray hairs come to us all." But like I said, I know what I know, and I hope to share and provide useful information and content that helps to lead y'all in the right direction. Now, getting to today, there's definitely a lot of opportunities to go in a certain direction. So let me kind of start off with something. When you're connecting with somebody, when you're communicating with somebody, when you're in relationship with somebody, there has to be a form of communication and agreement. For example, in the Bible, I reference that, that's a resource that I use and I find valuable. It says, unless two people agree, they cannot go in the same direction. Now, that's an interesting point. If I would like to go right and someone else wanted to go left, if we didn't come into agreement, we wouldn't go in the same direction. But once we're in agreement, we can go in the same direction. Now, there's also a point to which direction is best. That matters. That definitely matters. And sometimes, a lot of times, there's nuance to things, but sometimes it's just crystal clear as far as which one is right. Other times, many times, it's just choice preference. And like I said in the last video, we have things that we make bigger deals than we need to. Like my dad would say, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. And sometimes it's like, well, I want this to be this way. But really, if it didn't happen that way, how much would it really affect us? Probably not a lot. I spoke to somebody not long ago and told them, when it comes to the relationship that really mattered to me, that matters, like that I take to heart. If she were to say, you know what, like it's really important for me that you wear your hair like this at this time and this way, and I look at it and I think, wow, like what really matters to me? Does it matter that much to make a big deal about how she might want me to wear my hair if it matters to her, if it doesn't affect me? I know people have a lot of reasonings of why they don't want to do things, why they want to do things, and I understand. I'm not here to nitpick everybody's perspective and choices. But for me, what I realize is what's really important. We have these priorities. I think sometimes, honestly, most people, and I'm not here to like beat up on people in general, but I think a lot of people have their priorities mixed up. And how you prioritize, it changes depending on the person in some ways. For me, I know that it's clear. Um, I'll just say it straight out. I mean, God is above all, because without Him, I mean, nothing else matters, makes sense. There's a lot more to that response, but that's just where it starts. And then after that, for me, it's this relational love. That person that you know you build your life with, that they change your life in a certain way that you want it to be changed, that it's the direction you want to go, that you want to walk with them in every step that you take. Um, I think that's, for me, what stands out as the second layer. And then there's so many layers underneath, family, uh, income, work, how you produce, uh, doing good works in this world, like how you do those things for other people. There's just so many layers of what matters, and some people might shift them a bit, and that's okay, that's their choice. But I'm just saying, when you want to have a successful relationship, uh, whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. It's the way that you approach these and prioritize them and have that in your mind and heart that matters. And when you're in a relationship and you make someone feel like they're not as important to you, but yet you want to be felt like you're important, I mean, consider that thought. Like, how does that make sense? You want to feel like you're important, but you're not making the other person feel like they're important. I mean, these things, when there is a relationship, there is more than one person. There's two people in this romantic relationship that we're discussing. And yes, the other person has a responsibility, but you cannot force your thoughts, your perspective, your approach on the other person. If this person doesn't line up with you, I mean, it might suck, but maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's for a time. Maybe they're just not ready. But at the same time, you have to have a form of acceptance and respect to allow that person to make the choices, the responses that they make. I mean, I discussed in another video that it's not about putting yourself first, but you do need to focus on yourself and how that you become the person that you need to be. For example, you're a man. You want a certain wife, a woman in your life, and you think, I want this woman to be this way. Like, she needs to be like this, line up, hit these markers. Okay, cool. I understand. Now let's take a step back. Are you the man that she would want to be with? And what does that look like? What do you think that would look like? And if you're not that man, why do you expect this from the woman that you want to be with? Become that man. Consider what's really important. I mean, it's not rocket science in a lot of ways. A lot of women and men will say, like, this is important to me, this is important to me, this is important to me. And those basic overlays are pretty consistent. You know, honesty, trust, commitment. I mean, some men, you know, might look at it a certain way. Some women might look at it a certain way, but that's okay. When you come together, if they don't line up, like, maybe that doesn't work for you. Or maybe you need to consider what they say and say, hey, maybe I need to change the way I look at things, because maybe I have some distorted thoughts and some distorted ways. And if you're able to play catch up and get there, okay, cool. But how often does that really happen? I mean, I think it's pretty rare. But that's why I addressed in the other video that humility goes a long way. If you're not willing to humble yourself and walk in that direction of change, of I need something to help me to get that direction, then how are you going to go in that direction? Because you're unwilling to, in heart, in practice. Really, I think that more often than not, like I said, I might have discussed this in another video, but we blame others. But a lot of times we don't take enough responsibility for the things that we need to work on, for the things that we need to change. We look outward, but we don't look inward. That's why people don't really have changes of heart. Sometimes people have changes of action, but does your heart really change? I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, it's a miracle. And I know where that miracle comes from when it really happens. Like I said, what do I put first? That's where I believe it comes from. But at the same time, even with that, I mean, we have issues, we have histories, we have hurts, we have traumas. I mean, I have all of those. Like I said in maybe my first video, a lot of it is self-inflicted. I mean, I grew up and I had the mindset that I'm not gonna go out and drink and party and smoke. And for years, I didn't really. Kind of built up in that direction. As time progressed, I made little compromises. I had an idea that I'm gonna get married, that I'm not gonna have sex before marriage, and same thing. And at some point, I look back and I think, wow, like this is where I got to. And in certain moments in my life, I even was partly proud of it. Like, wow, like this is where I got to. Look at me. But when I look back now, I think, wow, like that's where I went to. And it affected a lot of my life now. Like I said, my reasoning for this ring is because it reminds me of the man that I want to be, the man that I am, the man that I wasn't in some ways. In some ways, I might have been, but definitely missed the mark. And the direction that I'm going, it reminds me of that. And sometimes I think y'all approach this life like it's a game. You know, I remember when I was a lot younger and thinking when texting first came out. Yeah. Anyways, so I remember thinking like, why do people respond when I text them, but not when I call them? And why does it take so long? And why is it this and that? And I remember thinking and even researching and kind of learning that, oh, there's these strategies to how you communicate with people. And I was like, and some of it wasn't really me, but I was like, okay, well, this is how it works. And it kind of did. And then in a certain way, I learned it even more. And I was like, okay, this does work, but it was just, to me, it was dumb. I was like, this is a game. Like, and I knew in my heart, in my life, that life isn't a game. Love isn't a game. And that's what I actually hoped for and wanted. And a lot of my life, it's like, how you approach this. And sometimes I felt like, hey, I'm kind of winning the game. We're kind of semi winning it together. But it never really connected. It never really was what I needed it to be or what I hoped for. And then there was. And that's when I realized, through some of these other things that have happened, that played out, I was behind. They were still affecting me. I couldn't be that man that I needed to be. And I was trying really hard. And some things from my past moved in and affected that place. And because I didn't know how to approach certain things, it rolled over. And it didn't play out the way that I had hoped. And I responded in certain ways that I needed to mature. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But I don't look at life and in these situations as lost or hopelessness. I look at it with hope and goodness and love and in the future, just in heart and in concept and in life and what I've been given. I mean, too often people look at life and then look in the mirror and they think, poor me, I'm the victim. I think that's the improper approach. That's the improper perspective. We should be grateful way more than we point fingers, way more than we feel pity for ourselves. We have a lot of more that we're capable of if we apply ourselves, if we look for hope, if we search and seek and reach out and are willing to humble ourselves. We can find way more than we realize compared to when we put ourselves in a position of victim and a failure. I had my mindset in that way for some time, and that was what partially rolled over for me too. And as men, it's difficult to overcome, especially with the ideas of society and certain things, but that doesn't have to be the reality. Like people say certain ways, that's your truth. What's your truth? And if you claim it, it can be your truth, but it doesn't have to be the truth. You don't have to receive it as the truth, because the reality is, if you really allow these things to take place in your life, in your heart, and you embrace them, you can overcome. You can be that man that you want to be, that you were designed to be, that you have hoped to be, that your woman wants you to be. And same for women. You were called to be a certain way. You can be that woman for yourself, for your man, Like I said, love isn't just focused on self. It's not, oh, how can I just love myself, hug myself? Yes, don't abuse yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't affect your life in that way. But the love that you have, share it. And when you become this person that you need to be, that you've chosen to go in that direction, you will see that there is life beyond yourself, and there's hope, and you can have this formation of love and unity with the person that you hope to have it with, you know, and it'll help you. And even when you are in a relationship with somebody, hopefully it's not isolated with just you two. Hopefully you understand how to allow this love to grow within you, that you can share it with others in the appropriate way, not in toxic, inappropriate ways that affect your partner, but in healthy ways, in appropriate ways that are with love and respect towards each other and through the other people that you connect with. You know, there's ways that you could communicate like an adult. You know, things have shifted from the past when people actually talked to people and became people of just messages. You know, people that hide behind their door cameras rather than actually interact. There's a way that you could communicate and approach things in an appropriate, healthy, mature way. And I actually hope that for each and every one of you. And like I said, anybody that wants to reach out, I'm available in the comments and in certain ways. You know, we'll see how this progresses. But I believe I said Araso in the beginning. Again, that's Korean. And I actually asked ChatGPT today to make sure, and he did say it means I get it. Yeah, and I do. I mean, I'm not perfect in my understanding of life and everything, but in a lot of ways I do. And so hopefully you get it. Okay, so that's about it for today. Um, one more thing. Kamal, thank you. Thank you for your time. All right. I'll see you soon.